This way, study focuses on how civic engagement with technology use shape societal reorganization from a gendered perspective. And central question, which was put to the forefront and to the central line, is how does a diverse society renegotiate its response to crisis, and is gender equality upheld at such arenas? Mm. Regarding conceptual work, I integrated theories of social mobilization and feminist theories, adopting a socio-political perspective to explore how our gender identities, different ones, define experiences which are also very different because of that and because of inequality in such relationship. So how they define our experiences as civic activists and actions in engaging such processes. And starting from definitions, I would introduce action arenas as such digitized spaces for implementation this collective action, and so they are shaped by institutions sometimes, or they are shaped by civil societies efforts, like civic tech initiatives, for example, self-help maps and platforms from LGBT community to people of community who are trying to connect with each other in invisible way to protect their efforts. And also they are advanced by such contributions from civil society who or which put their value and exact services complementary to those existing in the state infrastructure, so meaning civic technologies. And from this perspective, civic engagement is voluntarily entering this action arena for doing collaborative actions for creating of such values and providing services for people, meaning people-to-people services, and rarely, but also people-to-government services. And then from this perspective, what did I understand under gender equality dynamics at war? So how the questions are how such mobilization, which was voluntarily by default at action arena, affect this equality, and what does the shift from welfare state to state of shared burden due to institutional weaknesses or inappropriateness of some actions mean for our equality? The discussion question running through the whole study is whether such revealed and spontaneously formed conditions for interaction on such arenas centered around creating shared value. Such useful services, first of all, which could address the problem of protecting and supporting people during the war. But again, different people and services are also created by people who share different values. And can it represent irreversible socio-political transformation toward gender equality? Or alternatively, does society face a rollback from the agreements on such collaboration in 2022 and coexistence in a peaceful way between different identities or fully peaceful way? Or it is about reverting to traditional settings and discriminatory practices once the collective danger has passed, approximately in 2023. And actually, what actually happened after other wars we know, starting from Second World War. And suggestion is that crisis responsive civic engagement does not merely reveal what a society is right now under the shock of war and crisis, but it makes visible what it could become due to efforts of such activists or active core of civil society, which does not merely deliver, but also wants to improve what we have. If such transformative efforts, which are usually coming from grassroots level of marginalized groups, are institutionalized in a proper way and therefore sustained. So I used mixed method of qualitative analysis, and actually this research was supported by interview with 12 visible activists aged up to 40 years old of diverse gender identities, with the main focus put on LGBTQI. And short background to understand how do Ukrainian activists engage and experience the war through collective action based on such societal acceptance or disacceptance of diverse identities. So traditional gender roles are fixed by the law of Ukrainian parliament, meaning that men are those who are obliged to be at frontline roles and actually shaped by masculinity, or often hypermasculinity norms. And traditionally, women are mostly family and society supporters as a part of post-Soviet culture. And actually, we couldn't find any mentions of LGBTQI community, which was which was welcomed in 2022, but discouraged due to discrimination after this trend of collective shock has gone. Also in cultural norms, meaning that superior force culture in war shapes this decision-making and engagement practices, as well as their outcomes, not just products we create and deliver, but also new cultural norms which come from physical spaces of interaction from our real lives to social media to be renegotiated or entrenched. Also, the formal spaces of such engagement, which are usually institutionalized and regulated as action arenas, where such norms and roles define actors' behavior. And again, then we create places for everyone. Which are currently pretty much supported by technologies in a negative or positive way. And these informal spaces which expected to be safe, but they become spaces of brevity. Imagine niches of action arenas where technologies are used to raise the voice, usually of marginalized groups, and actually developed support networks of such groups which try to create the safeness of such niches. It is advocacy for vulnerable groups such as female activists representing widows of war, LGBTQI combatants and their unofficial partners who can't get any compensation in case of losing a partner at the front line, just because we have no this law of supporting such marriages. So they offer protection, resources, and actually these are the only places enabling action. So what about official numbers? What about gender equality index in 2025? It scores more than 60%, and actually it is 9 points below a European Union average. So what about impact of war on vulnerable groups such as female and women and girls? More than or close to 2 million internally displaced people are females, and actually more than or close to 7 million need humanitarian aid. What about economic disparities? According to Vox Ukraine, figure of last year, that 70% of women are still unemployed, and 48% of internally displaced women are unemployed in comparison with the same number. So the same indicator in 71% of internally displaced men, and only 20% of women are on top executive roles. And gender pay gap is doubled since pre-war year 2020 first. And important issue of political representation. So formally, women hold more than 20% of parliamentary seats, but the real power of such women and their visibility are pretty much questioned. I would start with LGBTQIA perspective, as the most data was collected within this community. So what did I do? I took a Facebook group, the main and biggest group of concentrating efforts of such activists, to deconstruct the case of organized trolling and disinformation campaign in social media against LGBTQIA community engaged in defense. And so the most popular or common narratives they share was about stating that